Howdy, it's your old buddy Tomcat, 10 months later, and today we're going to do Onion Head Part 2. It's funny what started this thing off. This morning I was kind of in a mood and messaging with my buddy Wayne Herbert and some others on Distilling Tradition on MeWe, and I told them that you need to run a onion head a certain way just because I said it, no other reason. And Wayne's a little more precise than that. He called me out. We've had this discussion a bunch of times on how an onion ought to be put onto a distilling apparatus. So he kind of challenged me, like, well, why? And I thought about it, like, dang it, I'm going to have an answer. So after many, not that many, but quite a bit of research, I did a lot of reading. I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I'm going to present to you the best I know. There's really not a textbook, and there's not a lot in one place about it. You have to kind of learn on your own. So what you're going to hear and see from me today is just my opinion. I've used the words and opinions and thoughts of a lot of other experienced home distillers, and take it for what it's worth, because you didn't pay nothing to see this. So it's what I think, though. All right, so what do we got? Visual effects. Wayne always likes my art. Here's what we're going to do. What is an onion? How does it work? How do I use it? This is Wayne's part of it, where he and I were messing with each other. Does it matter where it's at on the vapor path? Those are great questions. All right, so if you saw part 1 of this video, you saw me waving around my brand new onion that I just got. And since then, I've run a good amount of liquor through it, and it works great. But I took a picture, and you're going to see it kind of got dirty. I need to get some copper cleaner and clean it up. That is an onion head. That's what we're talking about right there. So that's never enough. I've put together some descriptions for y'all that really explain it more to what I'm sure we could all understand. So I'm just going to read what I've put together. These are other people's words that I've paraphrased, and it kind of makes sense. There's some good things in here, so here we go. An onion is essentially a vapor expander, so it has an onion shape. The purpose of this shape is generally to create a passive reflux, and I knew that. This happens because there's a large contact surface between the vapor and the copper is cooled by the ambient air, so internal condensation is formed, which returns to the boiler. Okay, I can go along with that. The purpose of the expansion area is so that the heavier components, the tails, have space to slow down after being jettisoned from the boiler and can fall back down. The lighter components carrying on up the vapor path to the condenser. Wayne has a nice video of running his still wide open, and it's really surprising how fast and hard steam comes through there. Both temperature and pressure effects apply here. The vapors are a gas, or more appropriately, a fluid in the vapor state, and they're at their saturation condition. That is, the temperature and pressure where the fluid can exist in both a liquid and a vapor. I'm not claiming to be a scientist. If that's wrong, don't tell me. I've had a rough day. I'm tired of hearing I've been wrong, so I'll be wrong again. When the vapors enter the onion, the velocity of the flow slows down due to the expansion chamber. When it does that, the pressure decreases, and when static pressure decreases, the vapor expands and it gives off heat to the onion. As a result, the heavier constituents, those with a higher boiling point, will start to condense along the wall of the onion, further drawing heat from the vapors in the flow. This action adds to the separation of volatiles, alcohols, and heads from the not so volatiles, such as water. Excuse me. Here's a shout out to Sam Adams Oktoberfest. Man, this is good. So, both pressure and temperature affect the passive reflex mechanisms in the onion. It is like adding a plate, a bubbler plate, or at least a partial plate, since it won't fully condense all of the vapor flow, but it will help with a slight separation of the constituents. I kind of disagree. I've seen good results out of the onion. That's here or there. In addition to the potential of providing a small amount of passing reflux, an onion performs another important function, that of relieving the buildup of entrainment of proteins and solids from washes that tend to foam, in other words, oats and rye. For this reason, an onion also effectively increases the working volume of the boiler. It is for this reason they are placed on top of the boiler. An expansion chamber works great to prevent a foaming solution from foaming up into the narrow section above it. And their advice, what people would say is make sure you run it slowly. If you run it fast, it doesn't make that much of a difference, but that's with any device or any distillation, my experience. So anyway, there you have the scientific explanations of what it is and how it works. But I'm going to show you a little bit of how it works. Now let me step back. Part of my research showed that where your onion heads really are prominent in Scotland and Ireland. I don't know if they were invented there, but they have been used there a very long time. And in fact, Scotch is required by law to come out of a pot still. I should also add that the discussion Wayne and I and others are having are using a column still and employing an onion into it. So that's kind of where the rub is. We're probably the only ones wanting to do that. Anyway, one of the things that I read over and over and over, you're going to love this artwork. All right, there's the still, there's the onion. But the main thing was they always, in those commercial operations, come off into a line arm. And the line arm has a great effect on the flavor of the product. And so, I don't know if it really matters that much where you put it in the vapor path. It's about a 65, 35 preference or whatever to people liking to put it underneath bubble plates. That's how I like to run it, and that's where I shot my mouth off this morning and had to back it up. But the truth is, I don't know if there is a right answer. I mean, they definitely help do what they do. If you look at those commercial Scotch pot stills in Scotland, they actually run them with a point up, and that's kind of the traditional way. I've had good luck running it the opposite way, I guess maybe because the condensed product flows downhill. I don't know. And another thing, a lot of people said, it's not that, doesn't work that good. I disagree. The onion really helps it out a lot. The research says it's better, more prominent in the taste and the flavor, but I noticed better reflux out of it. I recommend it, and besides, it's got the cool going on for sure. So, maybe Wayne would be willing to do something a little more scientific to test it and give us empirical evidence. I'm not going to do that because I told him this morning, run it on the bottom with 2 sight glasses over top of it. Works like a champ, and I'm not going to mess with success unless he can prove it to me. So Wayne, on behalf of myself and Baby G, the ball's in your court, brother. Let's test it. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe. Thanks for joining our discussion today. Shine on.